Honoring the breath in times of trauma. Just a few weeks ago, as the clock ticked toward midnight, my hair was being washed, conditioned, and cut quite short. After that midnight strike of the clock, businesses were ordered to close due to the rapid spread of the deadly novel coronavirus. This could be my last cut for many months. 24 years ago, almost to the day, I also sat for a shorter than usual haircut. Back then, my reasoning had to do with the upcoming birth of my third child. With 2 young children at home, who knew when I'd have the chance to step out for the luxury of a haircut? Baby Thomas entered the world on his due date, weighing in at 7 pounds 5 ounces. Perfect. Except he had an extremely rare respiratory condition. His little diaphragm worked the opposite way ours does. Whisked away to the neonatal ICU to keep him alive, I followed and moved in. Living in the NICU, I learned the professional way to wash my hands, the danger of germs, a slew of medical terms, and the names, areas of expertise, and personalities of our nurses and doctors. Yet the bottom line was a diagnosis with no clear cure. The experts were baffled. Swept up in the instant whirlwind of extreme distress, witnessing baby Thomas's condition was traumatizing, to say the very least. Baby Thomas's diagnosis of bilateral diaphragmatic eventration meant that he struggled to breathe. Like my baby's illness, the coronavirus affects the respiratory system. To ward off this novel virus, peoples of every culture have learned how to wash hands to disinfect, stand 6 feet apart, and don masks and gloves to minimize its spread. Much remains unknown about the novel coronavirus, much like baby Thomas's illness. With the rapid onslaught of the coronavirus, the world was turned upside down. Around the globe, work, careers, education, events, vacations, and travel plans were put on hold or canceled due to the virus. Directives to stay at home and isolate seemed to proliferate, an abundance of news, social media posts, emails, phone calls, and online meetings, classes, and gatherings. Nearly every person's daily routine changed. In the span of hours, my life was turned upside down following Thomas's birth. While I was allowed to live in the NICU, I was not considered a patient, which meant I wasn't allowed visitors. I did not have a cell phone. The year was 1996. I didn't have a laptop or any such device. I was both virtually isolated as well as physically isolated from my 2 children, husband, family, and friends. My daily routine was set by the hospital. I was simultaneously surrounded by medical experts, yet alone, living in the NICU to care for my sick baby. Certainly, this uncommon experience was not what I was expecting. Yet it was like a mysterious door appeared and I was pushed right through. The shock of this imposed predicament forced me, without consciously thinking about it, into mindful living. Thomas struggled to breathe each breath. Out of necessity, each of his breaths became my focal point. Well, mostly. There were other moments of intense fear, anxiety, and worry. Will baby Thomas get well? No medical expert could say. How long could I go on like this? This being the physical and emotional drain and exhaustion of living in a hospital with little sleep and separated from my other 2 children. Even more challenging was the pain, the overwhelming pain of watching Thomas struggle to breathe. I wished it were me. I wished I could make his struggle go away. It was quite obvious there was nothing else I could do moment to moment other than be with, hold and comfort, and love him. So, despite my underlying fears, anxiety, worries, and pain, little baby Thomas taught me how to observe each breath, each labored breath in, and each labored breath out. In and out. My new reality was living breath to breath. My new teacher was baby Thomas. While my experience was personal in nature, the novel coronavirus is a global trauma. It's like the world was sucker punched, the wind knocked out of all of us. It's hit us on every level, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Most humans cannot escape varying degrees of fear, anxiety, worry, and suffering, very much like my life 24 years ago when baby Thomas entered the world. Right at its onset, the novel virus brought me back to those days living in the NICU. It feels like another invitation to breathe even more deeply, even more mindfully, to live more fully in the present moment, to embrace quiet reflection and silence, to be still, to observe, and to honor the power and life of each breath. Honor the breath, it gives life. Honor the breath, it resets priorities. Honor the breath, it invites us to become the highest version of ourselves.